and Courtney Vance and the great Mary Alice in that production.
What did he say to you? What did that?
He didn't say nothing to me. It doesn't happen like that.
Right, fair
where
enough.
Somebody's
Fair enough.
role speaks. I don't know what that means.
Was there something about that character, about that?
It's a great play.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So August Wilson.
A great play, and Constanza can tell you, I was fortunate to spend a day back in, I think it was 2005 with August, and it was just one of the best days of my life to just sit with him and listen to him and his talking about his process and what he does.
Was there something about as you got further along and ultimately older? Well, maybe that's a way into it. Maybe that's a way into talking about. Did you find yourself? Were there ways that you found yourself relating to this character? In what ways did you find yourself relating to this character as you matured and as you ultimately decided to tackle not only acting but directing this story?
When Scott Rudin brought me the screenplay 7 years ago, again, going back to the 80s, I thought I was too young for the part. And then I read it and it said 53, and I was 55. I was like, wait a minute, I better hurry up. Yeah, so I called Scott up. I said, I want to do the play before I get too old. He said, you want to do the play? I said, yeah. He said, I'll call you on Monday. We raised the money. Here we are.
Yeah. Well, let me ask Viola Davis a version of the same question. The two of you performed these roles. So, as Denzel mentioned, the play comes from '83. It's part of a cycle of plays by August Wilson. It came to Broadway in, if I'm not mistaken, '87.
When was it first done, Constanza?
It was done in '86.
'86.
So Broadway '86, Broadway '87, and then revived in 2010. The two of you played these roles. What can you tell us about this character of Rose, your relationship with her? What did she say to you, so to speak? What drew you to her? What draws you back
Besides
to her?
the fact that it's a great role, it could not be any more perfectly written. I think the best part of Rose is that when she's introduced in the play, she's in the background. She really is. I mean, she's cooking. She's sitting. I mean, it's not that she's not enjoying the banter, but you kind of feel like this is how it's going to be. It's Troy's story. And then when she steps forward and when she's betrayed, then you hear her voice. And I think that's really nice. You don't get that often. A lot of times women in the background, they stay in the background. But when she really taps into her voice, she really taps into it. I like that about her.
I want to switch gears and I want to bring in Stephen McKinley Henderson. I want to bring in Constanza Romero Wilson because I want to talk a little bit more about August Wilson. So maybe one of the two of you could tell us something about August Wilson, the person, the writer, something that relates to this specific play. I mean, Stephen, you performed in a number of roles in his work.
Well, I didn't talk about the writer, definitely. I was always in awe around him, and I was always welcome. He welcomed me into his company. I just was always still in awe. And it took me quite a while to just be hanging out with August Wilson, you know what I'm saying? Because he was just so wonderful, and he would try out ideas. He'd bring up something, he'd engage you, and then he was sneaking up on you with something monumental. One of my favorite times, I said something. I always loved when I could say something to him that he delighted in, and because he delighted in listening to stories. That's why he could write such great stories, because he listened so well. He'd sit around, he'd be listening to people. And I told him I heard these brothers coming down the street uptown, and I was a little nervous because they were arguing. It sounded like they were really talking loudly, and the dude was saying, no, man, the blues don't come from being black. The blues come from being black in America. You was black before you came here. You didn't get the blues till you came here. All of this, he said, I like that, man, I get that. And so that was one of the things that I loved as a writer, because he appreciated so many, and he appreciated other writers. You know, he could tell you in a minute that Amiri Baraka was an inspiration to him, and that, you know, that he found things that he talked about the field of manners. We talked about James Baldwin talking about that we have a field of manners and a way of behaving. And he just rejoiced in other people and listened so well. So that's what I most was in awe of about him, that he had so much that was inside him, and he got it because he listened to his parents, to his ancestors, to the people in the street. You know, he listened, and then he elevated it and exalted it, and did something with the language that you have to just witness. You know, no words to talk about that. You don't have to talk about that. Just read it. It's right there.
Thank you. Constanza, I'd love for you to pick up on some of that and tell us a bit more about the man that you knew, and how you maybe help us understand his relationship to this specific play, as you might have talked about him about in his life.
Sure. You didn't see me in the movie because I'm August Wilson's wife. August was a very principled man. He lived by a saying that his mother always repeated to him, which is, something is not always better than nothing. And he would rather have nothing than compromise certain things about himself and certain things about, Black America. And I think that him being such a principled man, he taught me so much in our time together. He put that kind of sentiment and warrior spirit, I think, into his characters, such as Troy Maxim. And also the storytelling tradition, the fact that, while he was growing up, people were playing the Stoops, people sold fish sandwiches, people were, playing baseball on the street, and he loved to tell the story of a community, and what made that community strong and resilient, and he had so much passion for everything that had to do with Black experience. And in getting to all of those specifics, as you all know, that's how you get to the universal. And he wrote seamlessly. We would be sitting at a cafe, and he'd be saying, well, this happened to this character, and this happened to that other character in a play he's writing, and I'm saying, really? It's like as though they were all real people, because they were real to him. And so to live was to write, and to write was to live for him. And that's basically like Troy and his bat, basically. Yeah.
Well, let me ask Mykelti Williamson about Gabriel Maxim. And I wonder if you remember the first conversation you had with Denzel Washington about that character, about this role. Can you remember an early conversation the two of you had about performing this role, being in this movie?
Well, not exactly, no. But I remember wanting this so badly, feeling privileged that I was going to get to go and do it. And even though I was cast, I was so disappointed in myself, I didn't realize that they liked me. And I told that story before. A couple of days I spent in bed, found out they liked me. I was so happy. Because as an actor and as a human being, and as a Black man in America, Denzel has always made us proud. Always. Those who had fallen by the wayside took the route of jealousy when they saw this man's excellence. But he instilled fear in all of us. I got to give it up. I'm serious. But the kind of fear that he instilled in me was, I got to figure something else. I got to figure out another route, because you knew he had that one covered. So I went the character route, and learned how to make that as excellent as I could. But I looked up to him, found that a great privilege, and then to be included now again, I have no words. Thank you, Denzel.
Jovan, was there fear? Was there fear?
A little bit.
Be honest.
I think a lot of the fear came from my own imagination. I mean, when I found out that I got this part, I was really excited that I had the opportunity to work with one of my heroes and with a full cast of veterans who I knew were just going to be people that I'd be able to learn something from. So I think that the fear really came from just me. I think especially when we started in rehearsals, I was paying more attention to trying to make sure I was doing the right thing in rehearsals, making sure I was trying to please the director versus being in the moment and really paying attention and listening to my scene partners. And I think that's something that I had to work on, and I got better at. I feel like I got better at it as we kept working through it. So the fear naturally went away when I was able to just let go and trust that the preparation was there and go out and just play.
Denzel, people are talking about wanting to please you as the director. You've been an actor on the other side of things, I assume trying to please the director, or trying to navigate a relationship with the director. But in this role as a director of this piece, who are you trying to please? Are you trying to please yourself, the page, because it's this August Wilson play that you know so well? Or is there something else that's driving you through this
Please
process?
God first. I'm just trying to, I'm an ordinary man with an extraordinary job, not the other way around. So it's all gravy for me. When I was younger, I used to coach a lot, and nothing made you coach kids in sports. Nothing made me happier than seeing other people do well. Well, that's sort of my nature, and directing was the perfect job for that because I love seeing others do well. I mean, I'm okay. I did pretty good. I'm good. I'm doing all right. But to see others do what they're capable of gives me great joy.
We're going to take some questions from the audience in a moment, and I'm going to throw out a question to anyone on this panel. I was thinking as I was watching this movie, why this play now? What is it about this story right now? How do you relate to this play, this story, its themes, its ideas at this moment we're living right now, 2016?
Constanza.
Well, if August were sitting right here, he'd say, "What took you so long?" But I think to exalt and to really pay homage to Black culture and to also give air, to all the people of what August said and the way that he wrote, and to have many more ears listen to his poetry. I think that it is time, especially, it's thank God I'm in a blue state, so I'm going to say after the election. And I think that just August spoke for the Black experience, and we need to have more voice for the Black experience, especially in all of its humanity and all its wonder, and it's good and bad, and Denzel, I just have to say, you did it so beautifully.
And it's the universal stems from the specific. It's specifically about this African American family, but the themes are universal. Betrayal, love, all of those. Pick a color. Right. Got a few witnesses in here. You got one that, yeah. So those themes, the things he touched on. He wrote a masterpiece. It's Eugene O'Neill, Tennessee Williams, Arthur Miller, Edward Albee, August Wilson, and Neil Simon. I mean, come on. He's one of the greatest writers in American history.